everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my everyday makeup drawer. I will be going over all of these items that I've been using throughout the month of June and then also showing you my new picks for the month of July. Apologies if I sound a little bit sore throat nasally. I've been suffering with a cold for the past week, so let's get into it. So starting with, as usual, foundations. This is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion and this is the one that I got in the shade Ivory L2. This is so much a better shade match for me than the previous one I had, which was L1, which I think is Porcelain. It is such a nice foundation and does apply really easily and sit really nicely on the skin. It does tend to break up in a few areas towards the end of the day, but I do get a good few amount of hours out of it before it does so I do really like this foundation, but I am going to take this one out for next month. The other foundation we have is this Wet n Wild Cushion Foundation. This was a complete new one to my collection and I didn't know what to expect with this because I've never tried a cushion foundation, but so far so good. I'm really enjoying using this. It's not the highest amount of coverage, but just creates a nice dewy look, which isn't usually what I tend to go for. But once I've set it with some powder, I think it creates a really nice finish and I'm really enjoying using this. So much so I think I am actually going to keep this one in for next month because I do tend to like a more dewy, lightweight look in the summer months and I don't feel like I need as much coverage, so this is probably going to be ideal. Then for the setting powder I've been using, this is the Maybelline Fit Me and I've got the shade Fair Light. This I think is the first loose finishing powder I've tried that's been with a bit of coverage. The ones I've tried have been translucent and so far so good, really enjoying using it. I've realised now though that I don't need to apply this to my whole face because it does overly dry me out in some places, so I do just apply it mainly to my T-zone. I'm going to keep using it for next month, especially because I do pair it with the Wet n Wild foundation. Forgot about primers as usual. The first one is this Wet n Wild Coconut Primer Water. I really like the smell of this. It feels really nice when you apply it to your skin. But if I'm honest, I completely forget that step. I tend to just go straight for my other primer, which is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. So I keep forgetting to just try this on its own and see how that goes. But it's forced habit to reach for this one. So I'm going to keep this one in because I do want to fully test it. And I'm also going to keep this one in because I'm really enjoying using it now. And I don't think I've got another primer in my collection that I'm enjoying as much as this one. So I do want to keep it in there. And for concealer, I tried the Colourpop No Filter Concealer and I got the shade Light 16. This is a really nice shade match for me. It's not the best for applying under my eyes, but I do tend to use my other concealer for that anyway. This is what I just apply to blemishes and if there's any sort of uneven skin tone that I want to correct. This is the one I tend to reach for, but I really like it. I definitely prefer it to the e.l.f. Camo Concealer that I tried, but that's not the best shade match, so maybe not a good comparison, but generally really enjoying using it and I think I actually am going to keep this one in for next month as well. My other concealer is my YSL Touche Eclat. I am in the shade 1, which is Fair. This, I did not think I would see out another month with this one, but it is taking quite a good few clicks to get enough product out to do under my eyes now, so this is coming towards the very end. I do have a backup, but what I'm tempted to do is, if I do finish this part way through the month, is to really test the Colourpop one under my eyes to see how it goes. It's not the perfect match for covering my dark under eye circles, but I'm willing to give it a go. But keeping this one in because I should nearly finish it, hopefully. Then for my under eye setting powder, we have the e.l.f. Under Eye HD setting powder. This is in my Project Pan for 2019 and I am so very nearly there. There's not much left in it at all. I have underestimated how long this product will take me to use up in the past, so I don't want to be confident that I am going to get it finished this month, but I'd like to say I'm going to at least come close. I'm obviously going to carry this one over. For highlighter, the first one we have is this Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder and this is in the shade Blossom Glow. I've been really enjoying this shade and I would say this is more of a lighter pinky shade than the other one I own, which is more bronzy. But I've had this in here for a couple of months now, so I think I am going to switch them back out. Really love the formula of this. Amazing price, really great lasting power, and they do just create a nice blending highlight that catches the light lovely. So highly recommend these. The other product I was using as a highlighter is this Gold Rush from Benefit. I do think this is supposed to be more of a possibly blush topper or peach toned shimmery blush, but I've been using it as a highlighter. It's not bad, it's Definitely not as good as my Mary Luminizer, but it's not a bad product. The only issue I have is it's quite strongly scented and it doesn't dissipate as quickly as I would like. But overall, it's not a horrible product, but I just don't fancy continuing to use it next month. Then for bronzer, we have the Benefit Hoola bronzer, and I've been really enjoying using this. I do have a new bronzer, I think from Milani, which I was going to bring into this month, but I think I just want to have one more decent month's use of this before I bring in that one, because I don't see the point of opening multiple products. But really enjoy using this, really nice match for my skin tone, I think, and a little goes a long way because I've had this product for a good while and I'm only just starting to fade the word Hoola. Then for blushes, we have the Balm Frat Boy blush. This is my sort of go-to brighter blush when I do want a darker look. It's completely buildable. If you go in light-handed, you can just create a nice little flush to your cheeks. Go in more heavy-handed, you can create some punch with this shade. So really enjoying using this one. So I think, to be honest, I'm going to keep this one in for next month as well. And then my other blush is a Tarte Amazonian Clay, and this is in the shade Harmony. And we are really getting to the bottom of this one now. Made a good couple of dents and can see into the bottom of the pan. So I'm obviously going to continue to keep this in there because I am now determined to finish this one. Then for my brow product, we have the Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil. I'm in the shade 3. This is another one that I think I'm coming towards the end of, but I did expect to have used it up last month, but I haven't. This is the only brow product that I use. I've gone away from powders, I've gone away from pomade. Now that I've got the technique on this down, I definitely can't live without doing my brows. I will be continuing to put this in each month. Next we have the Milani eyeshadow primer. Definitely a staple in my everyday makeup drawer, although to be honest this month I haven't had to reach for an awful lot, which means that I've done quite well with these palettes. I'm still going to keep it in here for next month. And for eyeliner, we have the Milani Stay Put eyeliner. This is in the shade Hooked on Espresso. I have sharpened this a few times now, and even when I can get the nib to its sort of freshly sharpened point, I just find it's not as precise anymore. It does bleed out of the waterline. That's all I use it for. I do only apply this in the waterline, but I just don't find I've got a precise point as when it was a new product. So I am finding myself sharpening it more to get it to its absolute pointiest to be able to keep it in my waterline. It does require quite a steady hand, otherwise it ends up going into my lower lash line, which I'm not overly keen on having it there, but I'll keep it in for next month and just maybe keep it extra sharp. Then we have this Physicians Formula Eye Booster 2-in-1 Lash Boosting Serum Eyeliner. This is another one that was a recent purchase from I think I got this one in Canada, and I'm not too sure where I stand with it. It does have a superfine tip, but I don't know how well it shows on camera, but it's not the blackest of blacks, and I find I do have to go over it quite a few times to get it to the darkness that I want. It is a super fine line, which is great, but sometimes when I go right up to my lash line, you can't hardly see it, and then when I go over it, I end up making mistakes. So it's not my most favourite eyeliner, but it's by far definitely not the worst. I would say I do actually prefer this to the Epic Ink, which, if you've seen any recent videos, it was my kind of second or third favourite eyeliner, so it is up there. It's just got a few things that it could be just down to practice. With regards to its lash boosting capabilities, I don't think I've used it enough to see how they come about, but I think I'll keep this one in for next month to give it more of a chance. I don't think I've used it enough. Then on to mascaras, and I think every mascara in here was new to me. I will start with this one, which is the Mega Slim Skinny Mascara from Wet n Wild. This wasn't too bad. I did find it was a kind of pain to have the extra step of using this just to apply my lower lashes, but as you can see, it is a super skinny wand. It is ideal for the lower lashes, but I just feel like it's an unnecessary step. I'm glad I've got it, and the times when I do want really, really dramatic lashes, I will reach for it. But on a day-to-day basis, it's just a kind of step that I don't necessarily need. We then have the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise. And the reason I picked this one up was because I had heard so many great things about it. So many people on YouTube that I watch absolutely rave about this mascara. I had tried the equivalent that we have here in the UK, which is the Lash Paradise Ecstatic. I think I actually have an empty tube I'll just go and grab. So this is the Paradise Ecstatic, which is supposed to be the UK version of this. And after hearing so many good things about this, and this being the only one available to me here in the UK, I tried it and was so disappointed with it. I just didn't see what all the fuss was about. Now that I've tried this, I can see what all the fuss was about. I don't feel like these are really comparable to each other. I think they're both supposed to be volumizing mascaras, but this just gave me black eyelashes with a little bit of volume and a little bit of length. This one gives me a great amount of volume with zero clumping. It also gives me a decent amount of length and gives me a nice curl to my lashes as well. I do find sort of towards the end of the day, I do have a bit of it on my face. I do have a bit of fallout from it, but nothing major at all. I've had much worse sort of fallout from mascaras by the end of the day. But I really definitely rate this, and now I can see what all the fuss is about and wish I could get hold of this version rather than our version, because this one is so much better. Usually I'm going to take out all of the mascaras and lip products anyway, but yeah, I highly recommend this if you're in the US and can get hold of it. We then have the Flower Beauty Lash Warrior. I'm a bit on the fence about this one, to be honest. It's not got the most easiest to use brush because it is kind of tapered in odd places, so you have to kind of adjust your hands in the right place before applying it to your lashes, otherwise I end up putting it all over my face. So it's not got the best applicator. Effect wise, it was just okay. It's an alright everyday one, but it didn't give me a great amount of effect. It wasn't very dramatic. And I also found if I did try to build this one up, it would get clumpy quite quickly. This was also one that no matter how much I took it off the night before, I would wake up every morning with panda eyes. Even if I'd scrubbed it off, I would have panda eyes the next day. So it's just an okay mascara. Not that I can run out to buy, because I don't think we can get this here, but I wouldn't run out to purchase it. But I will obviously use this one up because it is okay. It's just not the best. I would be quite intrigued to try their newer version. I can't remember what it's called now. I think it's Warrior Princess. That one's supposed to be a bit better than this one. But I'm glad I got to try it, but it was just okay. And finally, we have the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Mascara. This is one that I unfortunately picked up in the shade Black Brown as opposed to black. I was hoping it wouldn't make too much of a difference, but unfortunately it did. It gave a really nice effect and it was really long lasting. It curled my lashes really nicely. It gave them a nice amount of volume and a nice amount of length. It was what I would class as just slightly more dramatic than a day mascara, but because of the black brown, it just wasn't as dark. So I did find myself actually a couple of times getting the look I wanted and then going over with this just to give it a bit more blackness, because this one was so skinny. I found it didn't affect the integrity of the look I'd created with this. It just made the lashes a bit blacker. So that was an okay solution, but obviously not ideal. I would really like to try the plain black one of this because it is a really nice mascara. I might have a look online to see if I can get it. But overall, would recommend it. But I would say, unless black brown is your preference, I would say to use the black one, whatever shade that's called. To the lip products. The first one was the Stila Stay All Day in the shade Patina. This isn't one of my kind of all-time favourite formulas for liquid lipsticks, but it's nice. I really like the shade of this one. It's such a nice pretty pink, especially for the spring summer months. They last a decent amount of time, but I do find they go slightly crusty on me towards the end of the day, especially if my lips are that little bit drier, so I do need more moisturisation in them. So I find it is better if I do apply a balm under this one, but then that can sometimes affect the integrity of it and it does slip around slightly. But definitely not the worst I've tried, but definitely not one of my favourites. It's just an okay formula to me. We then have the Physicians Formula The Healthy Lip, and this is in the shade Bear With Me. Really like this formula. I'm not 100% keen on the applicator because it is a bit too bent back for what I like. It does remind me of the Pixie liquid lipsticks because they've got quite a bent back doe foot applicator to them as well. It does apply a nice amount of product. It just, I keep going out my lip line when applying it because I end up forgetting how flexible it is and pressing too hard on my lips. But this is such a nice formula. This is a really nice shade. It's really long lasting, super comfortable, and wish I could pick up more of these because they are really nice and I think they were pretty reasonably priced as well. So would recommend trying these out. Then have this Tarte Lippy Lingerie, and this is in the shade Exposed. This is more of a kind of tinted lip balm to me, but I did have a problem in that this fell out partway through the month. It's nice to see how much total product you get in it. I do have a mini of these and would actually be quite tempted to see how much is in the mini. There's obviously a lot of plastic there compared to the amount of product. Try and get back in. It is still usable, provided I kind of store it upright and take the lid off slowly. It's a really nice product, really comfortable on the lips, and is very balm-like. It's not the longest lasting, it does fade down quite quickly, but for a kind of tinted lip balm, it's really nice. The other Tarte lipstick we have is this Colour Splash in the shade Surf's Up. This is in my Project Pan, so I'm determined to finish this one now. Reached this quite a few times this month. I think I've used it a bit more, but to look at it, you wouldn't be able to tell. I'm actually going to carry this one forward to July because I'm desperate now to get it finished because it is so small in the tube. So this one's going forward, but really like the formula of this. Really nice colour and pretty long lasting for a bullet lipstick. Final lipstick is this one from Colourpop. This is the Luxe lipstick formula in the shade Layover. This was one of my more recent purchases, and based on the sticker on the bottom, I thought it was going to be more pinky than it is, but it's just a really nice warm nude shade. I really love this formula. It is probably my favourite bullet lipstick formula for the comfort, the colour pigmentation on them, and also the longevity of them. They last a decent amount of time and they fade down nicely, so highly recommend these. Have to try and stop myself from purchasing 10 million more of them, but yeah, really enjoy using these. Finally, on to my eyeshadow palettes. I'll just discuss this one first. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. This has been in my everyday makeup drawer, I think, since January, for the sole purpose of I wasn't reaching for it otherwise. I still feel like I've got a lot of product left in there. I don't make much of a dent in it because I just don't like the smell of it. So I'm going to give myself a break from the smell of it for July. Seeing as it is my birthday month, I thought I would treat myself to not have to smell this. On to the palettes. The first is this PS Soft Camo, and this is from Primark. And as you can see, it was only £3. I didn't know what to expect with this because I haven't tried a Primark eyeshadow palette before, and I was pleasantly surprised. The colours in this are really nice. They've got a decent amount of pigmentation to them. They blend pretty nicely as well. Yes, they aren't the longest lasting, and you do need an eyeshadow primer with them. I would say that if I used the NYX eyeshadow primer that I have, which is the glitter one, I think these colours would really pop using that, but I did only use my Milani one. But for £3, you definitely can't complain. The shades are really nice, and I would definitely recommend one of these palettes for the price. The only issue is that some of the shimmers are starting to hit hard pan. I don't know if it's picking up on the camera at all, so I'm going to kind of have to scrape that top layer off a little bit just to get to the shimmer below, but they are really nice shimmers once applied to the eyes, and I do recommend this palette for the price. We then have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette. This was new to my collection as of this month, and I've been really enjoying using it. The most shades that I've probably reached for are these two in the crease, these two in my outer V, and then probably these two as a shimmer all over the eye. I've used this Dazzling one a few times, as you can see, but that is quite a dark shade. I think, to be honest, I have reached into every single shade in here, maybe bar the Soul one here, but really like the formula. I was quite intimidated by the thought of this palette because I'd heard how pigmented they are, but they blend like an absolute dream, so my issues were soon put to one side. They blend really nicely. There is quite a bit of fallout with the shimmer shades, which is a bit of an issue, especially because I'm a person that applies my face makeup first. I don't notice hardly, if any, fallout with the matte shades at all. It is just solely the shimmers. I don't think there was a single shimmer that I applied that didn't put some sort of fallout on my cheeks. There is a bit of powder kick up with the mattes, so I did think they would have fallout, but they don't. They just blend beautifully. So I absolutely love this palette. I am so glad I picked it up and that I got to try the formula. It does make me want to purchase possibly the Soft Glam palette, but I am going to hold strong and not pick it up. But I recommend the formula, but it's just something to be aware of, that there is quite a bit of fallout I found with the shimmer shades. Then finally, the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. This is one that I do regret purchasing. I don't find like I am getting my full use out of it. When I use this, especially on a daily basis, these are kind of my comfort zone, maybe this whole top row, to be honest. because I'll tend to put one of these in the crease, one of these in the outer corner, and then one of these all over the lid. I don't tend to make much use of the bottom 2 rows at all. I'll occasionally dip into this palette for a nighttime look, but most of the shades that are in these bottom 2 rows, I think I do have in other palettes. So as I say, I definitely do regret the investment of this palette. Don't get me wrong, the formula is really nice. The mattes blend really nice. There's a nice amount of pigmentation to them. The shimmers also blend beautifully. I think it's just the colour story of this, and that quite a lot of the shades of it are quite dark, and I don't tend to overly like dark shadows. So I am disappointed I bought it, but it's not a bad palette. It is kind of a regret. Now the pot's empty, I will fill it up with the products that I'm taking over from June to July. So starting with foundation, as I said, I've kept in the Wet n Wild, but I also wanted to bring in this Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. I've got this in the shade Rose Beige with the E missing, and I've heard great things about this, and after loving the Liquid Camouflage Concealer so much, I wanted to try the foundation as well. So I did manage to get this on Amazon, but I've since found, thanks to one of my lovely subscribers, that the brand Just My Look actually stock Catrice, so I've finally been able to pick up a backup of my concealer. I'm very grateful to now be able to have a stockist for Catrice, and if I do like this foundation, I will be able to get it for probably half the price that I paid for this, but I'm excited to try test this one out. Then for highlighter, I was nearly going to stick back in my Mary Luminizer because it is my go-to staple, but then I remembered I had one of the e.l.f. shimmering highlighter powders. This one is in the shade Starlight Glow. From what I remember of the formula, it's similar to the Mary Luminizer, to be honest. It's a nice everyday glow rather than a blinding highlight. So I wanted to give this one a go because I haven't used this since getting Mary Luminizer, so I want to see what it's like, and if it's no good, to be honest, I'll just get rid of it from my collection. I think quite a few of the products that I'm actually going to stick in for this month are either products that are on their last legs in that they don't have much left, or they are products that are kind of on the chopping block because I do need to make a decision one way or the other to keep them in there or not. For my other highlighter, I say I'm putting back in the Precious Petals, and this is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow formula. Really enjoy this formula and just wanted to switch this one back up, seeing as I was switching up my daily one as well. Then for my liquid eyeliner, normally I do only have one liquid eyeliner in, but because I'm still not 100% sure on the Physicians Formula one, I thought I would stick the Balm Swing eyeliner back in. This was one that I wasn't a huge fan of, but it is kind of going to waste sitting in my collection. So I thought I would give this one more chance, and if I don't like it, I will get rid of it. It is a kind of dip eyeliner, which I hadn't appreciated when I purchased it. I did think it was a pen one. So this one is on its last chance. It is quite a wet formula. So this one is on the chopping block, and it has this month to sway me. On to mascaras. I have a few in my collection that are minis that I've probably had open for about 3-4 months now, so they probably should be getting used up and thrown in the bin once they are used up. I know I've used them all a few times, so I don't think I've got an awful lot left in them, but wanted to throw them in here because I'd like to think I can get them used up this month. The first of which is the Tarte Tartiest. I think I quite like this one. I just wasn't overly keen on the way that it opened. I thought I broke it nearly. And it does get quite a lot of product out on the brush, and it doesn't feel like it's secure because I could just keep twisting and twisting that. So I think this one definitely needs to be finished up first because I just don't feel like that it's packaged securely, and I'm scared that it's going to go off. So I wanted to put this one in here. The one from Tarte is the Tarte Man-Eater Mascara. I don't think I overly like this one. I don't think it gave me a dramatic of a look as I normally like. I don't think it gave me much curl or anything, if I remember that rightly. So I wanted to give this one last chance, and then otherwise that one can go. The final mini is this Benefit Roller Lash. I don't know how long I've had this one open. I may not have even opened this one actually, now we'll come to think of it. But this is one of my favourite mascaras, which was only replaced by the Benefit Bad Girl Bang. This was my favourite dramatic mascara. But I don't like having too many minis open of mascaras in my collection, so I want to put this one in here as well. Then I've just got a couple of full-size ones. The first one is my trusty Benefit Bad Girl Bang. This one I've had it for a good while, so want to get the last bit of use out of it before it goes off. And to be honest, I don't think it's got an awful lot of product left in it anyway. And then for a go-to everyday mascara, I wanted to include this Essence Lashes of the Day Super Volume Mascara. I think this is the second or third tube of this I have had now. I find it to be the nice everyday mascara. It gives me just the right amount of dramatic look without being too over the top. I wanted to be able to reach for this one again as I haven't used it for a while. I'll then go on to eyeshadow palettes. And for this month, I've decided to stick 4 eyeshadow palettes in, although one's kind of technically not a palette. It is just this collection of singles. None of them are Makeup Forever, that is just the holder it's in. So here we have 2 Makeup Geek shadows. This one is in the shade Ritzy. This is in the shade Sorcery. And then this is a Colourpop single. And this is in the shade Team Captain. I never reach for these. I did in my last eyeshadow palette colour to actually get rid of all my singles. And this was the only thing that I kept. So I'm determined to make use of them and thought it's better to stick them in here. I'm then going to put back in the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette. This is one that was in here a couple of months ago, but I hardly reach for it because the shades are so intimidating and so bright. But I thought, what better time than to include a bright palette than my birthday month, where I can just say it's my birthday and I can wear bright eyeshadow if I want to. So I thought I'd stick this back in here. Plus I've got a few nights out planned and things, so more of an excuse to be able to wear bright shades. I'm also going to a hen do, so it might be a bit fun to use a bit of colour for that. So going to give this one another go because I've hardly used it, to be honest. I then also decided to put in my trusty Tarte Make Believe in Yourself eyeshadow palette. This is an absolutely gorgeous eyeshadow palette, which as you can see is 90% foils. A highlighter in the middle. It's supposed to be a face highlighter, I think, but it's not very good at that. And then just one solitary matte shade over here. The formula of these shadows is so nice. They are so bright and foiled and shimmery and really nice. And they make any look pop. But I do only use this as an accent palette. I will reach in for one shade. But I'm finding myself doing that less and less because I do have shimmers in other shadows that I like that create a nice pop of colour. So this is in here just to sort of give it some look because it is such a nice eyeshadow palette. And then finally, because I do need a kind of fail-safe everyday eyeshadow palette, I thought I would stick back in the Colourpop You Had Me at Hello. I don't think this has been in here since the beginning of the year, but this is a really nice eyeshadow palette, one of my favourite everyday type eyeshadow palettes. As you can see, it's got your mix of purples, browns and nudes in there. I tend to mainly reach for this one in the winter because they are slightly darker shades, but I think mixing it with these kind of brighter colours, it's the toned down muted palette that I think I'm going to need for this month. On to lipsticks. Obviously we have the Tarte one already in here. We also have this Smashbox Be Legendary lipstick, and this is in the shade Primrose. This is another one in my project pan, but still has quite a lot of product left in it, so I definitely want to get this one used up as much as I can, and I think it being in here is the best thing for it. Then we have this Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink, and this is in the shade Poet. This is quite a light peachy nude shade on me, and I'm not that comfortable wearing it because I think it is slightly too light. But the summer months, for me, is the time I can get away with wearing lighter shades because this is probably one of my all-time favourite liquid lipstick formulas, and I definitely want to make use of all the shades that I have. We have the Wet n Wild Liquid Catsuit, and this is in the shade Rebel Rose. This is the first one of these that I've tried and really enjoy the formula, really like the shade as well, so keen to start using this one again. Then I just have 2 minis from Jeffree Star. This one is in the shade Rose Matter. This one is in the shade Gemini. This has been through the tumble dryer, that's why the sticker's worn off, but these don't have much product left in them at all, so I'm hoping I can get these finished up this month. They've probably only got 1 or 2 applications left in them each. And the final lipstick is another one that's on the chopping block. This is the Bella Pierre Kiss Proof Lip Cream, and this doesn't appear to have a shade on it. This is one that I think I got in a Glossybox or some subscription box, and I don't remember liking it very much, so I wanted to put it in here to just use it a few times, see if I did like it. If not, either bin it or pass it on. And finally, for the new setting spray that I'm sticking in, I recently purchased the Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. I'd heard such amazing things about it, and we've now got a Morphe store opened in my city, so I was able to actually go and have a play around with some of the brushes, see what their eyeshadow palettes are like, and also spray this. I'd seen obviously people spray it on videos on YouTube and things, but I wanted to just experience it myself, and I liked that they had one for you to be able to spray in the store, and I've got to say that is one fine mist that comes out of this. And obviously the plus side for me is that it smells really nice as well, so really excited to give this one a go and see how it compares formula wise to the Urban Decay. The Urban Decay is not a bad formula, I just don't like the smell, so excited to give this one a go. I did also pick up a couple of their brushes. So that's it for my everyday makeup drawer for July. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks.